Good evening. Hope everyone is doing well. Been a very interesting day in news. I didn't say good. I said interesting. We'll get to that. We'll get to the subject at hand, which has a lot to do with the news and all that. I've got a couple of quick updates that I want to run past you. There's a secret squirrel mission that I've been on, and I'm just gonna say that mission is near completion. Now, Patreon knows, and I'm not trying to convince people to run over there because, to be honest, I kind of suck over there at the moment. So my apologies to the patrons over there for not giving that the time that I need to. That is going to change, and that's all part of the secret squirrel mission. And Patreon knows. I made a video for them today. They knew about it from before, and I just updated with the... To be honest, from the last time that I spoke about it with Patreon, it's a significant movement forward. So, again, it's secret, and if I told you about it, then I would have to... I don't know. Anyway, seriously, it's really good stuff coming, and it's what we've been working for and trying to achieve, and we are close. And I will make that announcement to YouTube once we get there. And I suspect, I will say, I suspect anywhere from the time frame of 2 to 3 weeks. So, other than that, updates. I am absolutely not a reformed arugula killer. I killed another, and I don't think the kale's going to make it either. So I'm scratching that. The bib and the iceberg lettuce is coming up great, but the kale and the arugula not so much. So I'm actually going to put a pepper plant where the kale is, and then all the spots, 2 spots that don't have anything alive in them right now, I'm going to put prize head lettuce in there because I know I can grow that. And we did a taste test, and between the butter crunch, the romaine, and the prize head, our favorite was the prize head. It was like right in the middle. Butter crunch was real green and lettucey tasting, and romaine seemed to be really kind of mild. And then, like I say, the prize head to us seemed to be somewhere in the middle. So again, it could be the time that I'm cutting the plant, cutting the leaves off, and we're tasting them. It could be a million different things, but hey. So that's what's going on with that. I don't know of any other updates that I can think of off the top of my head. So let's jump into things. I had to have a chuckle because I got to speak to this because I think it could even be a part. Okay. At this point, I just don't know, but. Bull of the Fifth Column made another video today, and apparently the only way you can be a tough guy is if you get the jab. So I hate to tell all of you out there that choose not to get an unneeded medical procedure that you're not a tough guy or girl. I'm sure he didn't say girl. Oh my goodness. He didn't include the ladies. Oh my goodness. I'm kidding. Okay, I'm not grilling him for that, but I am grilling him on his absolute propaganda when it comes to the jab and what it is to be a man. Because men don't just bow down and listen to their government. That's not what men do. Now, if their government's telling them to do something good, if their government is sound, if their government is moral, then it most certainly could make you more of a man. But unfortunately, yeah, you got me. So anyway, I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at the broad spectrum of stuff that seems to be coming down the line now. And it's, in my mind, revealing some very, very interesting things. Because what I'm seeing on this chessboard is that apparently they didn't knock out enough of the small business before. So now what they're going to do to kill it off the rest of the way is require vaccination passports, right? For people to dine in the restaurants and stuff like that. Now, if these restaurants, especially in places that it's a little more of a choice than, mandatory right now, I have a feeling it's not going to necessarily fare real well. I mean, they're going to do okay in the beginning because you're going to have all the rah show up and do their thing, right? But the novelty is going to wear off quick. It always does. Okay, and once the novelty wears off and they don't have that base support anymore, probably not going to do so well. But that is collateral damage in the government's mind because they're after all business, right? Not just the ones that give in to them. Don't misunderstand. The ones that bow down, and this is usually the case, the ones that bow down and just give in, they're not friends to them. They're just useful idiots. And so what's going to happen is when the mandates come down that restaurants and whatnot does this, then what's going to happen is you're going to have a lot more people that just don't go out. Okay? Even vaccinated people that feel like they shouldn't have to show their papers to go have a meal. Okay? They're not going to feel like hassling with it. So what's that going to do to those small businesses? Okay? And while we've got all this stuff going on, we've got some real, let's not forget, some real craziness going on from Mr. Joe and trying to override the Supreme Court and everything else when it comes to the property owners and the eviction moratorium. And that is just going to compound the problem 10,000 times worse, killing off even more of the small and middle-sized businessman. See, if they do this, then we don't have a leg to stand on. Because right now, there are still fairly enough people that are making a decent living, okay? And for those people, at this point, as long as that income isn't threatened, which we're not done yet, if that income's not threatened, then they're good. But there's a problem. There's a caveat here. See, I just discussed with you about the business owners. I didn't talk to you yet about the employees. And we're seeing many companies coming down with vaccine mandates. Now, a lot of these companies that you're seeing are rather large kinds of company, and they're going to keep enough employees to be able to stay open. But what about all of the other businesses if they start getting required by, because this is how they're going to do it, the insurance companies, if they start getting required by the insurance companies that their, employees are vaccinated, or else there's going to be some type of surcharge or fee, penalty, fine, let's just call it what it is, a fine, then where's that going to put folks? And so when there's no income to be made through the normal channels, how are you going to live? What if you get to all that point and everything's been, the wind's been blowing in your direction the entire way because you didn't have to pay your house payment or your rent because of the eviction moratorium, and so you've got all these bills that are, well, mainly your housing that is building up and all of that. Now you have no income, and let's just say all of a sudden it disappears. And now you've got all that debt that you incurred. Well, it doesn't even matter if Mr. Joe swipes that out the window too, all that debt. Says, oh, that's not any good. You're still probably going to have to find a place to live. What if they don't? What if the property owners, the landlords, for whatever reason, future reason, are not allowed to kick them out at all? Then what? This is really screwy. If you take a look at what's going on, they are literally cutting our feet out from underneath of us. This is insane. This is insane. I've said for some time on this show that I felt like it was only a matter of time. They were getting ready to make this really hard, big push. Now, this was before COVID started. But there was a lot of things being done behind the scenes. A lot of T's being crossed and I's being dotted. A lot of things. And then they had spent literally decades of putting these components into place. Right? And, I'll bring up things like the Viper teams. VIPR, I do believe, and they did a lot of their work in Tennessee, their training and whatnot. I believe it was in Tennessee. The Viper teams, you can look that up. And again, I think it's VIPR, no E. And essentially, what the Viper teams would be really good for would be pop-up checkpoints, especially at places like state borders. Check out the Viper teams. And then we all remember, right, and I couldn't tell you how many years, between 2 and 4, maybe, something like that. We all know about Jade Helm. We all know about Jade Helm. What was that for? Because I remember there was a bunch of us that asked what it was for when they were doing it, and most of us really couldn't put our finger on what it was for. Got any ideas now? How about, and this might get some heads to turn or some eyes to roll, but how about FEMA camps? Any idea now what those might be put there for? Seems like it's coming together for me. Here's an interesting thing. There are several Walmarts right now, and I really hate to even bring this up, because I even laughed at some of the conspiracy theories involving Walmart and the FEMA camps and all of that back when. But let me put this little nugget in your ear. It would appear that there are multiple Walmarts that are having renovations done right now, and that probably wouldn't normally be surprising, but it's kind of how they're doing it. It's very interesting. Very, very interesting. And it almost, to be honest, looks like it's being done real quickly. I mean, not quite so planned. I'm just saying. I saw some pictures in a Facebook group, Food Shortage Watch, I believe is the name of the group. And very interesting. I'll just say that. And I'm not saying anything. All I am doing is putting out different information that I have been collecting. You work with it. Bear Independent did a video this morning for Patreon. And he was answering question, and I actually took the notes, and I don't have those notes right here. Anyway, one second. I know where the notes are. So I went through a series. I'm just going to give them to you for reference real quick. Because if you're not a patron of his, you missed this, and I don't mean to be stepping on him or anything like that. But you need to know it too. So I'm going to tell you the verses that he had pointed out here. And if I missed something somewhere, I apologize. But Deuteronomy 18, verses 10 through 22, he covered. So I'm going to say it again, so you could always rewind this, but, pen and paper. Deuteronomy 18, verses 10 through 22. Isaiah 47, verses 9 through 15. Galatians verses 5, verse 16. And I've got a dash, but I don't have anything else. Revelation 18, verse 23, which is, I think, the biggie, okay? And that one I am going to talk to you about. And then James 5, verses, I think it's 13 through 16, okay? Okay, so I do want to cover, and I'm not taking you to Bible study, don't worry. If you're not into this, stick around. It's I'm not going to hang on it, don't need to. Revelation 18, well, I can't even speak, verse 23. What would that maybe say? Well, since you asked, Alex, it says, "And the light of the lamp shall not shine in you any more at all, and the voice of the bridegroom and bride shall not be heard in you any more at all. For your merchants were the great ones of the earth, for by your drug sorcery," you hear this? "For by your drug sorcery all the nations were led astray." You follow me? How more clear does it have to get? Now this is, so no surprises. Same Bible that Bear reads, the scriptures, okay? So you want to see the front of it, the scriptures. So, because they don't all say it that way, because reasons and stuff. It's amazing, huh? A lot of them just say like sorcery. But the word pharmakia was involved in that. And I guess for some reason somebody along the line thought it wasn't a big deal to include that. Imagine that. So, again, I'm watching all of this information come in. I am watching the different key players speak. And this is not something that they are going to back away from. They're not going to back away from it at all. It means what you think it means. Pretty sobering, isn't it? All I can tell you is to get ready. If you're of the same kind as me, pray. Lots. Seek lots of guidance. I do it every day, all day long. That's why I like quiet. That's why I like peaceful. Because I'm constantly speaking to him. And I want to be able to hear him. I don't ever want to not be able to hear him. That's why I want it peaceful around me. Because there's a lot of stuff going on. A lot. And I just want to be on top of it. I want to be on top of it. I know I'm falling on my words here, but it's like there's 50 quadrillion, I can't even think, thoughts in my mind, and they all want to come out at the same time. And of course, that's not even remotely possible. But this has been a long road that I've been on, long before I started doing the Watchman news. And to see it coming to a head like this, wow. I'm in awe. I am in awe at how this is so accurate. Now, if that's not enough to convince you, I don't know what is. I've got a thick skull, a really thick skull, and it took a lot for him to convince me. Some of you may not know, you haven't been around. I was up into my 30s. I was atheist. I didn't believe, didn't care to believe, didn't want to believe. No, I didn't almost die. I didn't go to prison. And Bubba teach me about Jesus. That's not what happened. I had a much more interesting experience than that. And you can, our very first show, I explain it. Way back in 2014. The best thing that I can advise you to do is food if you don't have it. Okay? If you're just starting out, food. And don't worry about buying the expensive freeze-dry stuff and all that. Don't worry about that because you ain't gonna need it to last 25 years. So don't bother. Get whatever you can as quick as you can, and you know, don't get stuff that's going to spoil in a month. You get my drift. But there's a big difference in getting grains and stuff like that and getting freeze-dried foods. Which grains will last, you know, a long time too, but there's other things you can get. Like one of the things I showed in the Prepper Closet video. You know, we've got a lot of Chef Boyardee. I am not concerned that that's going to go bad before we need it whatsoever. So if that gives you kind of an idea. And you can go look, our Prepper Closet video. If you're new to this, we've got a Prepper Closet video. I cleared out this closet. I put shelves in there and just packed it full of stuff. And in fact, today I added more to it. And that thing, I'm surprised I can shut the door. But it'll give you some ideas on how we done it in a little bit of space on top of that and not with a fortune. So there's that. Food. Big time important. I'm trying to think of some key things that had happened today. And I'm drawing, there was a lot of headlines. And again, I'm going to make this comment because it's important. The frequency of the news, very high today. A lot of news today. And some of it, I'm going to use the word audacity. Right? I actually think I can properly use that word. The audacity. Pandering, and there's a lot of stuff. What I'm doing over here, if you can't see, is I'm actually scrolling through because, folks, I cover so much news through the day, and I do read a lot of articles. I do look into things. And I watch a lot of video content. I'm taking in information all throughout the day. You can ask Jen. That's what I do throughout the day. I am looking for information. Let's see. Yeah, French cafes sit empty. Police are raiding outdoor diners over there in France. Oh, speaking of that. Speaking of that, and I'm glad that that jogged my memory, there was a protest in New York today that was an anti-passport deal. Protest in New York today, and we'll see. It's a start, right? It is a start, and that's much better than nothing where we were. So anyway, um, sorry, I had a message, so I was looking. So that's a start at least, and I think it's going to spread like wildfire, and that I'm pretty certain of that. But today there was serious protests over in London. They were actually trying to break into the BBC building. That was very interesting indeed. I'm telling you, these other countries aren't having it, and I don't think our country is either. I just think we're for whatever reason slow to react. Now, mind you, I say slow to react, but at the same time, these new rules, these new passports and all that, this stuff is just starting here, to where it had a little bit of start over there, a head start, I should say, in like London and other places. So, that could explain a large part of the hesitancy here. But I'll be honest, I figured there would have been a little bit of a build-up before then. I figured it wouldn't be a totally last-minute thing, but here we are, and hey, better late than never. So it started, and that's the key thing in this country, is somebody's got to start, right? And then it builds from there. I think this is going to build huge and fast. That is a good thing, I hope. Look, I hope that we can put a stop to this. I'm sure many of you do too. But I'm also realistic in that they've got an agenda, and they are this close. Do you really think they're going to let loose now? You think they're going to let go and say, oh, my bad? No, no. Are the vaccine manufacturers still pushing them out like crazy? Yep. So you think that they're just making them for nothing? I've asked that question before. Think they're just making them for nothing? It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm looking over the chat. Hexafoods is absolutely correct. Freeze your grains and beans for like 2 weeks before storing them. Hey, and there's a lot of varying on the times and this, and that, and the other thing. There ain't nothing wrong with doing it for 2 weeks and making damn sure that you got everything. So let's see. And I know what you say, know what you mean. I mean, Kyle, about the tip of the spear. Nobody wants to be the tip of the spear. And I get that. I do absolutely get that. I think for myself, personally, there's two things I've got to say on being the tip of the spear. Number one, when you don't have much else to lose, kind of helps push you in that position. And then the father. I just made a comment on Facebook today to somebody that I wouldn't have the strength to do half of what I do without him. I give it to him. I literally give it to him. Everything. Because I'm telling you, this ain't me. I'll refer to that first show again back in 2014. It was supposed to be an hour-long show, and I don't think I quite made it 30 minutes, and literally, you could hear me shaking, okay? I was so scared. You could hear me shaking, okay? And I grabbed onto him, and I held, and I did what I could to get through it, and did what I could, and, here I am. It's 2021, and not all days I look forward to doing this. I don't know how much I look forward to doing this, to be honest, but it doesn't bother me. I'm not afraid. It's just a thing. It's just going to work, you know. And I give that to him. And it goes even beyond just that, just the idea of speaking publicly. But what I speak about and how I speak about it, that strength is him. That strength is him. When you hear me get passionate, that's him. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Like I said, I think we got a lot coming down this pike, and I hate trying to think of timelines and stuff like that because, you know, if you're wrong, people grill you for it. But at the same time, if I suspect something, I feel obligated to tell you my opinion. And I am going to do that. I'm going to tell you my opinion, but you shouldn't hold me to it because all I'm trying to do is give you a heads up as I see it. And from what I can tell, okay, there's this big push that by the end of the month that the FDA fully approves the vaccine. And that's what a lot is really weighing on that moment. And as I've said, even last night, I think Jack Versovic's onto something. I really do. I think there is one hell of a darker than 9/11 speech being written up right now. If it's not already done. Hell, who knows? It may have been done years ago, for all we know. From my understanding, the Patriot Act was written up long before that puppy ever even seen the light of day. So who knows? But I have a feeling that by the end of the month, we are going to see a fully approved vaccine. And I think by the first week of next month, we're going to see a national mandate. Again, it's my opinion. If I'm wrong, I apologize. I would like to be wrong in the manner that it never happens. But I completely apologize if I'm giving it too long. I'm sorry. Don't bank on having that much time just as much as don't bank on it not happening. Just be ready. Plain and simple. Be ready. Be ready for anything. Be ready for your lights to go out. Be ready for the internet to go down. Literally be ready for anything that you can. Because we don't know what card they're going to put out on that table. And the more resistance that they see to this, the quicker and more likely they're going to pull that card. You think they're just going to let us refuse? There's a lot of people that don't want this. A lot. And there are some that will give in, absolutely. But there's a whole lot that won't. And I think their time, for whatever reason, is closing shut. There's a video that's been going around YouTube today, and you may have seen it already. I can't play it because then this whole show would disappear. But there's a video going around, and what is his name? Dr. Dan... Was it Stock? Or something like that. Anyway, Mount Vernon, Indiana school board meeting. And the poor guy can't keep a video up, apparently. I say the poor guy. You wouldn't believe the amount of people that are uploading this video to YouTube, and YouTube's knocking it out of the air as quick as possible. Now, there was somebody that put it up on BitChute, okay, and I was in a conversation on Facebook, and to where they posted the link to BitChute, and then they got warned for sharing false information. Yeah, in the comments. They put it in the comments and got a warning from Facebook about sharing false information. Okay? Now, because guess what? You're not going to win. I had put it up on PocketNet. Okay, and if anybody wants that link, let me grab that link real quick and I will give it to you. And you guys can share that link. I'll put it in the chat. I can actually add it into the show too. Well, I better not do that. I'll put it in the chat though, if it will allow me to. If the Queen shall approve my posting. Okay. And let's see. Hang on, let me show you. Just so you know. People's probably wondering, PocketNet? What the hell are you talking about?
Looks like a doctor's signature.
PocketNet. We have a home on PocketNet too. Here's PocketNet. Here's the meeting right here, which I cannot let play because I'll get spanked. And anyway, yeah. Here is the link to that because, and I'm putting it in chat right now. And I know my chat probably won't show up later. Let me kill this, but otherwise I'm gonna get in trouble. I meant the browser. I meant the browser, YouTube, and I just killed the browser window. Don't drone me, bro. So anyway, let me get back up here in the studio. So I put it up there on PocketNet. Feel free to grab that if you're in the live chat right now. You grab that, share it out. PocketNet's blockchain technology, so it's not a matter of just poof, right? So it's there. And so far, I haven't been nailed on Facebook for sharing that link. Just saying, so far. I better look. Yeah, I don't see anything. So, anyway, let me make sure I had a notification for the group that I'm in charge of. Oh, boil order. Make sure. Well, no, we're not on it. I started that group. I told you guys that local group. I did have a notification that somebody made a post, so I just had to take a peek. Proxy. Oh, you're using a proxy. Or you're probably, if not a proxy, you're probably using a, what do they call those things? I don't use them. But, don't open. That is weird. I don't know why. Now, it does take me a little bit sometimes for it to open. So sometimes it just takes a little bit. Other than that, I don't know what it's like opening on a mobile device. I never have tried. But anyway, that's the PocketNet where I have it. I would put it up on our website, but the only problem is we've got a real janky web host, and I really need to switch web hosts. And if I put it up there, you know, one person trying to watch it's probably going to take a half an hour for him to watch, you know, short video. I've got a horrible web host. I used to really stand behind them, but I've got to do something with that. Oh, another thing. Wow, I'm forgetting some big stuff to tell you about. Guess what? We had our decals, you know, the Novax Star David decals. Yeah, they were delisted on Etsy this morning. Absolutely. They got delisted on Etsy. And we got the nice little letter from Etsy saying that, you know, we're going to censor you and tough shit, it's our platform. That ain't quite how they worded it, but they didn't reply to me. I did message them back and flat out tell them that what they're doing is censorship, but I don't think they really care. Anyway, they said, I'm reaching out to let you know that we've deactivated one or more of your listings. And of course, I told you which one it was. And in bold print, they have items that attempt to exploit natural disasters or human tragedies. Now, I don't think I was trying to exploit the Holocaust whatsoever. I was trying to raise awareness to a new one. That sounds like something George Carlin would say, doesn't it? Anyway, we need him right now. But, so yeah, it got delisted. If anybody would want one of those, by the way, the Star David decal that says no vax in it, let me know, because I'll make sure to get you one, you know. I can send invoices with PayPal and all of that good stuff, or just give the, PayPal email or whatever the case may be. There's many ways to skin that cat, and I don't mind skinning it. So that happened today. I'm glad I didn't forget. There's a lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff going on in our state of Illinois. A lot of stuff going around in probably close to about every state in this country right now. Then some crazy stuff locally, which I won't get into, but unfortunately a couple of deaths. And I don't want to go into it because I don't know any details, and I'm not here to shine light on that kind of stuff anyway. And I'm kind of stuck because I would ask you to pray for all involved, but I don't know how much I believe in unspoken prayer. I believe that prayer should be as specific as you can, and I believe being very vague doesn't, I don't know, it's just my belief. But anyway, trying to think of the other highlights today, because there was a lot. And I guess actually it's about that time we could get started on the headlines. I can just comment on them as I come to them. It has been, like I said, as far as news is concerned, a very, very busy day. Very busy day. Let me have a sip of tea here and a vape or two. I need a nicotine IV. I don't have to stop and vape. No, what I need to do is just quit the nicotine. But a little hard. It seems like there's a few things on my mind. And I know that's an excuse, but those that know nicotine know how you just kind of melt when you need it, and it's there. And fortunately, since I vape and I make my own juice, my own coils, all that good stuff, I ought to be good. As long as an EMP don't wipe out all my stuff. Okay, let's do some headlines. All right. New York Governor Cuomo's closest advisor resigns amid sexual abuse scandal fallout. This is ridiculous, right? Because if it was anybody else, they'd have been strung up long ago. How is it that this cat is still walking around, still, I don't know, being Cuomoing everything? Yeah. Oil prices dip on stronger dollar and new COVID-19 curbs in China. More than 80,000 people evacuated from China's Sichuan province as extreme rains trigger floods. And don't expect me to say Chinese cities right. Don't expect me to say U.S. cities right. China's commodity stockpiles remain a complete mystery. Anti-Semitic, this is interesting. This is one of them I kind of wished I would have remembered to have mentioned. I'm sorry. Anti-Semitic incidents prevalent during lockdown protests in Germany, says a study. Now, apparently, Germans are blaming the Jews for, I guess, the virus and whatnot. Why? I mean, I thought that China was the scapegoat. Why Israel? Things that make you go, Australia gives conditional green light to COVID Moderna vaccine with first 1 million doses arriving next month. Let's see. Bring back firing squads. Corruption in Russia's military-industrial complex should be punishable by death, says the space agency head. We need this guy for a space agency head and not, Never mind. Code Red, UN issues dire warning about climate change, pinning blame unequivocally on humans. India's top court greenlights antitrust investigation into Amazon and Flipkart. This I thought was pretty big news, to be honest. I am watching this. I'm interested to see how this plays out. Because I can't believe that every single country is going to bow down to big tech and their demands. In fact, we've seen countries that have been standing up to them. So this stuff is interesting me because, you know, these companies, these corporations need to be knocked down. They're way too big, way too powerful. Australia's Byron Bay plunged into lockdown. Officials fear COVID had spread from Sydney. And by the way, backing up, Jen Psaki circling around, I'm not anti-capitalism. Okay, I'm very pro-capitalism. But what is going on with these big corporations is not capitalism. Okay? It's crony capitalism at best. And it's actually anti-capitalism because it's not allowing the little guys to get started out and build. So I got no problems with these Goliath companies getting knocked down to size. Because it gives room for others. It gives room for the rest of us to grow. It's not a bad thing. I read that one. Let's see. Afghan radio manager working for media rights group killed by Taliban journalist kidnapped, says officials report. Alibaba fires supervisor after he reportedly confesses to engaging in intimate acts with a drunk employee. How many of, never mind, I won't ask. Anti-LGBT Russian MP gets warning from Human Rights Council after call for gays to be sterilized and kept in shelters like cats. Meow. UK planned for NATO-led force of like-minded allies to remain in Afghanistan after U.S. troop pullout, the defense minister admits. Catholic clergyman killed in France, suspect reportedly under police supervision for arson of cathedral. Kind of interested in the motive. And I can't say this chick's name. She claims new country Poland is in her heart, auctions medal as exiled athlete, runs to support suffering Belarusians. I can't say any of their last names in Belarus. I can't. I've tried, and I would have to hear it about 9 million times, and then I might be able to. Mass graves dug for horses in Kazakhstan as Central Asian steppe hit by brutal heat wave, leaving wells and rivers running dry. Climate change frontline. Yakutia RT journalist joins firefighters tackling months-long devastating Siberian wildfires. And climate change, by the way, has also been a really big topic as of late. And I mean really late. And they have really been hammering the climate change thing again. In fact, the COVID thing is so loud that you don't really hear the climate change thing. But I'm telling you, as somebody that puts out news every day like I do, they are hammering down on the climate change thing hard again. You're just maybe not hearing it as much because of all the COVID stuff. But they're building this narrative too. And putting things in place with this narrative too. Again, like I was trying to explain, and I sometimes do a really poor job of it, but there are a bunch of things that are coming together, coming to a head right now. And climate change agenda is certainly a large part of what they've got planned. A large part. And I think that's why they're kind of sneaking it through. Which reminds me of sneaking things through. There's a bill, and I can't begin to tell you what bill it is and who in the heck did I watch today that even talked about it. Hang on, because I can't let you guys out of here without this bit of information. I think it was Southern Prepper 1 that I watched that said something. I'm almost completely positive. Let me just put eyes on the video. Bam, that's it. So he did a video. Southern Prepper 1 is the channel, and the video is titled Breaking News, Major Gun Control and Lebanese Economic something. I don't know. You're going to see Major Gun Control, all capital letters. That's the video that you want. He's going to give you the actual bill number and all of that, but they're trying to sneak in this massive gun control legislation in with I forget what it is, something with the Ways and Means Committee, if I recall correctly, and so it's some type of a it's not the infrastructure thing, it's something else. And so you want to be very, very mindful of it, because it looks like what they're wanting to do, what they're intending to do, is make semi-automatic firearms an NFA item, essentially. You'd have to buy a tax stamp just to have a semi-automatic gun, whether it be handgun, rifle, whatever. That's insane. That is insane. So keep an eye on that too. All of this stuff is coming together, folks. It's all coming together. You're going to see them lock those puzzle pieces in place real quick like. Australian vaccine hesitant senator mocked for defending choice to get COVID and die from it. And, I guess we don't have a choice in anything anymore. I guess we don't. Nothing. Right? Nothing. Hundreds of hospitals in Philippines are nearing full capacity, with Manila under a new lockdown. Taliban captures 6th provincial capital weeks after rejecting reports of a ceasefire amid fallout from U.S. withdrawal. By the way, the thumbnail for today's show, and I should have said it earlier, and I did yesterday, that's actually a screen capture from the new Suicide Squad movie. I couldn't resist. They got into an elevator and they were going, subterranean levels, like -3 floors. And then the last floor was, Little Dirty Secrets. So I took a screenshot of that button, that elevator door button. I thought it was cool. I'm easily amused. Samsung Vice Chairman Lee to be released after serving more than a half of his bribery sentence. Russian oil export revenues surge over 20% in first half of 2021. News site mocked for covering innovative clean energy technology that is just a reinvention of a 3,000-year-old water wheel. Classic. And you know what? That's not a very sustainable method. And you know why? It sounds like it would be a great idea, right? Just off the surface. Most things do. But if you go put a bunch of water wheels in our rivers and streams, guess what you're going to do? You're going to slow them down. That ain't going to work much either. So, let's see. What next? Social media users livid as Californian food blogger tries to cancel curry and claims name is rooted in colonialism. So now curry... It's clear there will be winners and losers. Oh, you're damn right about that. From global warming. Oh, that's not what that's saying. Sorry. Russia shouldn't be ashamed of standing up to gain from a warmer world. So they're even talking the climate change thing. So that was one of them I was referencing when I said that. Belarus unlikely to become part of Russia as Putin doesn't need another headache, Lukashenko says, promising to resign soon. France extends use of health pass to cafes and restaurants, despite weekend of mass protests. Yeah, I'm telling you, they're going to push this through. They don't care. They don't care. Russian cosmonauts to set up greenhouse on International Space Station to experiment with growing various plants in zero gravity. Hey, don't bullshit me, bro. You just want to make sure that you can still eat if we all wipe each other out or something. Sorry, I had to throw that in there. Russian police hunt mystery knifeman who broke into St. Petersburg kindergarten and vanished before cops arrived. BBC studios stormed by anti-COVID passport protesters. Video shows clashes with police amid attempted break-in. That's what I was telling you about. COVID kills one person every 2 minutes in Iran. Media estimate as country records deadliest day in pandemic. Chinese cyber agency detains 59 over illegal camera voyeurism. Recovery fund for flood-devastated German regions could cost 20 to 30 billion pounds, the state governor says. Deal between U.S. and Germany over Nord Stream 2 not legally binding and won't affect construction, says Moscow's ambassador in Berlin. Gold slides to 5-month low as upbeat jobs data from the U.S. and firm dollar point to Fed taper. I've got some questions for the teacher again. How in the hell is the jobs data looking so good? And how, by the way, is unemployment at the same rate that it was under Trump when things were pre-COVID? I gotta ask the teacher this because I really don't understand this math that they're doing. How in the hell could unemployment still be around like the 5% range at this point? But I'm telling you, don't trust numbers like that from any president. I don't care whether you like the president or not. They're lying. Because they all tell you they've got the best numbers, and they're all lying. UK government defends buying expensive paintings as promotion of culture after dismayed Labour MPs blast £90,000 price tag. Wait, that's pound. The other thing was euro. Sorry. I get them confused. That's driving me nuts now. Here it is, this one. The recovery fund for flood-devastated German regions. That's 20 to 30 billion euros. Sorry. I saw the other one. I'm like, wait a minute. They can't arrest all of us, Rand Paul, or should I say Dr. Rand Paul. Critics meltdown as he encourages people to defy CDC and drunk on power Pelosi. I had to throw the doctor thing in there because, you know. By the way, Ian, I did watch a little bit of Timcast before we came on live, and Ian refers to him now as Dr. Senator. I'm good with that. Let's. I'm not a big fan of Rand Paul or anything like that, but you've got to get the laugh where you can. So from now on, he shall be known as Dr. Senator. Protesters call on UK Prime Minister to halt killing of Geronimo the alpaca over TB concerns and plan human shield to save him. Bridge of Pies, Imperial Japan's plan to take down the USSR through covert kitchen sabotage revealed in declassified World War II documents. They were going to take down the USSR through the kitchen. It's actually not a bad plan. U.S. unveils new sanctions on Belarus over crackdown on protests after Biden meets with opposition figurehead, and I can't say her name. Another Belarusian, I can't say their names. Indonesia extends COVID restrictions in some areas, announces plans to ease measures or cases falling or failing. Proof of COVID-19 vaccination required at St. Louis Concert Hall, the pageant. We had been there. We went twice. I went twice with Jen, and I'd been there, I don't know, 2 or 3 more times before I met Jen. But guess what? Not again. Italian police bust sales of counterfeit COVID health passes on Telegram. U.S. judge sides with Norwegian cruise company and blocks Florida from fining them over a ban on unvaccinated passengers. What happens if Florida says, guess what? You can't dock here. And I know it's a hit on the income, especially the tourist income and stuff of those areas. I get that. But you've got to pick your hill. Plain and simple, you've got to pick your hill. I've got my hill. Over 50 reported dead in terrorist attacks by suspected jihadists in Mali. Iran's newly elected president uses first call with a Western leader to insist Tehran's interests are protected in nuclear talks. A Time's Up chairwoman resigns after report says she helped discredit one of New York Governor Cuomo's accusers. Use of force is part of legal system. Berlin police brush off UN torture rapporteur's criticism of violence against protesters. Yeah, lots of protests going on around the world. Around the world. And they are now starting here. Hang on. Gotta have a drink, babe. Pentagon to require COVID vaccine for all troops by September 15th. Oh, and this headline is the, let me tell you this headline because there's more. And it actually goes into what I've been saying. Pentagon chief says COVID-19 vaccines will be mandatory for U.S. military by September 15th, that I've already said, or sooner if they get FDA approval. Wasn't I just talking about that? Fake COVID-19 vaccination cards worry college officials. Why? Because you're going to have a database. Why are you so worried? French cafes sit empty as police raid outdoor diners after Macron extends vaccine pass to restaurants. Apple releases fact downplaying privacy concerns over new child protection system as watchdogs warn of overreach. I mean, do you feel real comfortable right now with everything going on? With, Apple taking these new measures? I don't know, had Steve Jobs ever been with Epstein? I'm asking. I don't know. Are there any records of that? Just asking. A landmark signing, mega-rich Paris Saint-Germain have hired Eiffel Tower for messy unveiling as fans mob Airport Stadium. I normally wouldn't have shared that. I'm sorry. Have a sports one slip through. Dallas School District defies Texas governor's mask mandate ban, says face coverings required as schools reopen. Oh, another name. Vladikavkaz tragedy, 9 COVID patients dead, others evacuated after oxygen pipe burst in an emergency care hospital in southern city. No Nazi pass. New Yorkers gather outside City Hall to protest mayor's COVID-19 vaccine certification order. And it looked to be a fairly large group today, but this is just a start. And I have a feeling, like I said, this is going to spread like wildfire. And I don't say that in light of all that's going on with wildfires right now, but this is going to spread like that. Absolutely. It just took somebody getting out there and starting. So I suspect that probably in the coming weeks you're going to see protests popping up all around the nation, protesting mandatory vaccines or even just the restaurants requiring it or whatever. Epstein's victims fund declared depleted after paying off 92% of eligible claimants as remaining holdouts options dwindle. Trump highway Republican proposes new name for road running the length of Florida. Uproar after German parliament committee head suggests preparing for intervention in Afghanistan again. Biden says he welcomes the DOJ review of unreleased 9/11 documents. Yeah, I'm sure you do. Doesn't matter. We're not going to get told the truth, right? You're not going to tell us about the Saudi involvement, right? You're not going to tell us any of the truth, actually. So I know a lot of people get hung up on this type of stuff. You know, the 9/11 documents, the JFK documents. Why? Why? What is it about those documents you think is going to tell you anything? Because if they did, you wouldn't be seeing them. I mean, haven't you figured this out yet? USPS slowing some mail deliveries starting October 1st. These states will see the biggest delays. And apparently, I believe Southern Pepper One the other day reported that there's going to be an increase in stamps. I want to say to 58 cents is what he said, if I'm not mistaken. A leading Epstein accuser sues Prince Andrew for sexual assault, battery, and emotional distress. I'm telling you, I take in an incredible amount of information every single day, and it's kind of crazy how much of it I remember. Guinea reports first case of Marburg virus, Ebola's cousin, in West Africa as one person dies of highly infectious disease. Oh, yeah, I did say that one. Yeah. Making sure, because that's a big one. Jab or jail. This is also insanity here. Ohio judge tells man convicted of fentanyl possession to get vaccinated or be sent to prison. Now, I'm not a fan of him being in possession of such a deadly substance. But at the same time, I think this war on drugs has been nothing but a huge failure to begin with. Aside from all of that, really? These are clear crimes against humanity. Make no mistake about it. Make no mistake about it. And if there's enough people that survive it, we will see a new set of Nuremberg trials. But we got to get there. It's going to be a hell of a long, bumpy road. Because this isn't like Germany. This is on a global scale. Makes it kind of hard when there is no big countries to come save our ass. Because the big countries are all in on it. Another sobering thought, huh? North Korea vows to boost preemptive strike capability in response to self-destructive U.S.-South Korea war games. So, and that's probably something I'd keep a little bit of an eye on as well. That, I think, pretty much wraps up what I've got. I think I threw quite a bit out today. Hang in there. Keep doing the things. Keep stacking food. Keep hitting all those areas that you need to get ready. And absolutely, most certainly, work on those spiritual preps, number one. If you're so inclined, work on those. Work on it tonight. Do it the moment that I end this. Work on those mental preps, those intellectual preps. Because those are key. Those are key. Without those, it doesn't matter how much physical preps you have. You got to keep your mental faculties about you. You got to know how to be able to do stuff, how to use your equipment, right? Without that knowledge, equipment ain't going to last long. So anyway, I'm going to leave you with that. God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll do it again. Hopefully news slows down a little bit. It's getting kind of crazy. I hope y'all have a decent evening. Best you can, anyway. And we'll see you tomorrow. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. And shalom.